All right, who do we have next? I can't hear.
Position 20, Mr. Rory.
All right, Mr. Roy, your case is 23 CR 0031058. In this charge with driving without a valid license, driving on an expired license, and no headlights. You understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard.
6 total. Last arrest, got a 2015 possession of a shotgun silencer conviction, 2015 resisting conviction, 2014 reckless endangering conviction, firing a firearm, and a probation violation, and a 2010 disorderly conduct. I think he's a resident of Connecticut. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Reddick.
Your Honor, this incident or traffic stop occurred on May 15, 2023, approximately 11 p.m. at the intersection or thereabouts of Mansell Road and Kingswood Place in Alpharetta. Officers initiated a traffic stop of the vehicle defendant was driving because it was not displaying any registration and had a headlight not working. When they encountered the defendant, he advised he did not have his license on his person, and he provided a Connecticut ID. Defendant was checked through GCIC and NCIC and returned that he did not have a valid license issued to him. The defendant advised he purchased the vehicle he was driving back in December of 2022 and had not had opportunity to register the vehicle. Your Honor, at this time, we are asking for a total of $3,000 bond. It would be a signature bond for pretrial services, $1,000 on each count. No driving, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Okay, Ms. Armstrong.
Judge, we would consent to a signature bond through pretrial. We would just ask that instead of imposing no driving, that Your Honor would just follow whatever DDS imposes upon my client for these allegations. He is a hardworking father of 3, and he's maintained employment at a local restaurant for the last few months. He does have contacts in Georgia.
Defendant will receive a $3,000 SLB through the jail, $1,000 each count. He's not to drive without a valid license issued by the Georgia DDS, and he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Anything further?
If the jail could put his phone number in the chat, I'd greatly appreciate it. I apologize for that omission earlier. I just need his phone number for my records.
All right, Ms. Armstrong is asking for a phone number, and if that could be put in the chat, and we can go to the next position.
Thank you.
Next is position 22.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Watley. Your case is 23 CR 003121G. You're charged with obstruction, giving false information, and possession and use of drug-related objects. You understand your rights? All right, Mr. Howard.
18 total. Last arrest was 2022 ag assault, possession of a controlled substance. On probation for burglary, 11 SC 102905. I got another burglary, 11 SC 102095. Another burglary, 11 SC 99397. According to the, he got a lot of burglaries. He got one. We got a couple more.
Okay, that's good.
It. Yeah,
that's good. Ms. Falk, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the defendant currently has a $3,600 surety bond that was set by the magistrate court. We would be agreeable to reducing that down to a $750 surety bond. This incident happened May 16, 2023 at 370 Elizabeth Avenue in Atlanta. Eugene York approached the officers and said the defendant was under a vehicle and had been harassing him. The officer observed the defendant trying to flee from the vehicle he was under, and he tried to stop the defendant, but the defendant failed to comply and was eventually apprehended and arrested. On his person was a glass tube commonly used for smoking cocaine. The defendant also gave his name as Larry when asked and claimed he was unable to spell his last name, but was identified with the assistance of Eugene York, the person that called the police. That is all for the state.
All right, thank you, Ms. Armstrong.
Yes, Judge, my client reports not having a job. He would not be able to make a cash bond of any kind, so we'd ask that you grant a signature bond in this case. And if not, then just stay with what the state recommended, which was I think it was $750. Thank you.
All right, defendant will receive a $3,000 SOB through the jail. He still has no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. The breakdown is $1,000 per count. Anything further?
Say that again, Judge, I'm sorry.
3,000 SOB through the jail, 1,000 each count, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Your Honor, we'd only ask that that be made a pretrial bond given his extensive history.
It'll remain through the jail at this time, but I do understand the state's request.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position 6.
All right. All right, good afternoon, Mr. Conyers. Your case is 23 CR 03112G. In this case, you're charged with simple battery and theft by taking with the offense date of July the 4th of 2022. You understand, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
12 total. Last arrest was 2020 trespass. Got an open possession of marijuana, open battery DV, discharge of a firearm on property of another. That's out of Union City. Hit and run, on probation in DeKalb for criminal trespass. 2015 disorderly conduct NOLO. 2017 felony in possession of a weapon, possession of controlled substance conviction. I think he got a DeKalb County hold for forgery.
He does have a DeKalb County hold.
That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Falk, please proceed.
Good afternoon, Judge Renee Rockwell for the defendant.
Oh, good afternoon, Ms. Rockwell.
How you doing, Judge?
Wonderful.
Thank you so much. So Judge,
Well,
yesterday.
actually, Ms. Rockwell, the state would like to put the facts on the record.
Very quickly. Ms.
Oh,
Falk.
okay. I'm so sorry. Sorry, man.
So this incident happened July 4th, 2022 at 135 Edgewood Avenue. The defendant took Miss Bria Wilson's cell phone after putting her in a headlock and trying to throw her to the ground. The defendant has a criminal case, actually, that he's currently in jail for as well, criminal damage to property in the second degree from March 12th for throwing a rock through the window of Miss Bria Wilson's vehicle, as well as an entering auto charge with involving another victim. According to Miss Wilson, who is here on the line today, and we would ask the court to sound for her, she and the defendant used to live together, and they are no longer used to date, excuse me. They are no longer in a relationship. They never lived together, and they share no children. This occurred at Georgia State University housing, where she was living at the time. She did confirm that the defendant placed her in a headlock and took her phone. She stated she chased the defendant to his car, and he got in the car, and she was holding onto the door as he pulled off. She stated she never received her phone back from the defendant, and the defendant has damaged her vehicle, which the state referred back to with that criminal damage to property in the second degree. She says that every time she tries to distance herself from the defendant, he damages her vehicle, and he recently damaged her vehicle in April, at which point she filed a police report. She is filing for a TPO. She wants no contact with the defendant, and as I stated, she is here on the Zoom. The state is requesting in this case a $4,000 surety bond, $2,000 on each offense. We are also asking for no further contact whatsoever with Bria Wilson. Stay away from 135 Edgewood Avenue and all Georgia State University property. That's all for the state. And no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, Ms. Wilson, if you're present and want to make a statement, this is your opportunity to do so. You are not so required. I would just need you to turn on your camera and raise your right hand.
Hi, I'm present and I do not wish to make a statement.
All right, thank you. Ms. Rockwell, please proceed.
Judge, I don't think they're dating anymore. He went and turned himself in last night. We're in court this earlier today for the felony charges. He did get a reasonable bond, Judge, and did not know. I reached out to Miss Wilson, who could probably confirm that they're no longer dating. If I could find that out. And does she wish? My understanding is that is the state saying she wishes no contact, zero?
That is correct. That's our understanding.
Okay, we understand. And just for the record, Judge, he is 25 years of age, born in Riverdale, went to North Springs High, graduated in 2015, then went to Tennessee State, where he studied human performances in sports science. Not married, no children. He will live with his mother and father. Like I said, he went yesterday to turn himself in to the Fulton County Jail. Had to wait an extraordinary amount of time for them to take him into custody. So I don't think he's a risk to flee, Judge. And if the court sets a bond with the condition that he has no contact with her, he will comply with that, obviously. I would ask the court, based on the fact that he turned himself in, if the court would set a total bond of $1,000 apiece on each charge with any conditions the court sees as appropriate. And he will follow those.
Thank you, Ms. Rockwell. At this time, defendant will receive a $1,500 surety bond, 1,000 count one, 500 count two. He's to have no further contact whatsoever with Ms. Wilson, whether through social media, phone. He's not to contact her at all. Additionally, he stay away from that incident location, have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Judge, could I get that CR number real quick?
The CR is 23 CR 003112G.
And Your Honor, can you do the breakdown again, please?
1,000 count one, 500 count two.
Thank you.
All right. Best of luck.
Thank you, Judge. Excused.
Yes, you may. Take care, Ms. Rockwell.
Thank you so much.
All right. Who do we have next?
Position 15, McGee. Put your mask on.
All right, Mr. McGee, your case is 20 CR 002971F. You're charged with criminal trespass with the offense date of May the 15th. Do you understand your rights?
Excuse me?
You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
McGee, I got first arrest. This was a SOB jail recommendation.
Okay. Ms. Reddick?
Your Honor, the incident occurred on May 15th, 2023, approximately 2:30 a.m. The location is 66 5th Street in Atlanta. It's the Waffle House located on Georgia Tech. Officers responded to the above location on a suspicious person call. When they arrived, they were advised by the Waffle House staff that the defendant comes to the location to steal food. The defendant had left the location by the time the officers arrived, and they located him at 8th Street and West Peachtree. The officers ran the defendant's information through their systems and learned that he was given a 2-year criminal trespass warning for this particular location on March 27, 2023. Your Honor, we are respectfully requesting that this defendant be given a $500 surety bond, stay away from the Waffle House on Georgia Tech and all of Georgia Tech properties, no alcohol, drug, or weapons.
All right, Ms. Armstrong?
Judge, Mr. McGee told me he wanted to represent himself, but respectfully, Mr. McGee, I am going to ask Your Honor to follow pretrial's recommendation for the signature bond.
All right, Mr. McGee, you wish to represent yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you understand you have the right to an attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And you declined to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
And you realize anything you say can and will be used against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You've heard the state's recommendation. I really don't want you to speak to what happened. I'm gonna make a bond ruling at this time. Is there anything you wish to add? But be reminded, anything you say can and will be used against you. And I don't advise you to make any type of statements at this time, whether about your condition, your housing, what you believe happened that day. Nothing that can be used against you. And again, I'm reminding you that you should probably just allow Ms. Armstrong's statements to be all that's added to the record for this.
What did you say, Miss Armstrong? I didn't hear you, man.
Ms. Armstrong just recommended that I follow what pretrial recommended in your case.
Well,
But since you're saying that you don't want her to represent you, you want to do this yourself against the court's recommendation, you would have a right to put on whatever statements you would like at this time.
I'm just a little confused. Is it a misdemeanor? I mean, don't I have a served jail time, man?
Okay, we cannot give you any of those answers. That's why you have the right to counsel and you're declining that. So you want Ms. Armstrong to represent you and answer those questions?
Yes, ma'am. I'll let her represent me this time.
Okay, so Ms. Armstrong will go back to your recommendation. And I believe you'll have nothing further to add after our rule. At this time, defendant will receive $1,000 SOB through the jail. He is to stay away from Georgia Tech in its entirety, especially that Waffle House. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Anything further, Ms. Armstrong or Ms. Reddick?
No, Judge, thank you very much.
Well, when do I get released?
If you don't have any other holds, this case is no longer holding you in the Fulton County Jail, okay?
So I get out today?
I can't guarantee it'll be today, but this case is no longer holding you in, okay?
Can you please tell me when I get released, ma'am?
Tonight.
You promise?
We can't promise you that. Okay, best of luck to you, Mr. McGee.
What's the call? I need to know when I'm getting out of jail.
Must have done something.
Position 11, Mr. Hurd.
Mr. Hurd, your case is 23 CR 003122C. You're charged with giving false information and 2 counts of disorderly conduct. You understand your rights?
So when do I get out?
You understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard.
You got 102.
Okay, so just give me what you see in the past 5 years that might be violent or related to the subject charges.
He on probation for robbery, 19 SC 171841. 2019, they gave him 4 years probation. That was October. Obstruction, giving false names, simple battery, 22 CR 007 395B. Shoplifting, financial transaction, card fraud, and probation out of Gwinnett.
Okay. All right, Ms. Reddick, please proceed.
Your Honor, these incidences alleged to have occurred on May 15, 2023. The incident location is 7491 North Point Parkway. It is a shopping area. The first incident occurred outside the Michaels, and the second incident occurred outside the PF Chang's. The alleged victims are Miss Aletha Grief and Miss Marissa Whitmore. Officers responded initially to Miss Grief's phone call outside of Michael's. They were met by Miss Grief, who advised the defendant ran up on her and asked her for money. When she declined to give them money, the defendant shouted vulgar names and racist comments to her. They also had received, while they were out on Miss Grief's call, they received another call from a Miss Marissa Whitmore regarding what happened at PF Chang's. One officer met with Miss Whitmore and she advised the defendant was again asking for money. And when the defendant was told no, he replied with some explicatives. In light of the defendant having over 100 cycles and currently being on probation, we are asking respectfully, Your Honor, a $1,500 surety bond. On giving the false name. And I want to remind, I didn't advise, Your Honor, I apologize. This gentleman, when he was asked what his name was, he advised that it was, one moment, Your Honor.
He gave us a name that was not his.
Yes, Your Honor, he absolutely gave a name that wasn't his. And we're also asking for $1,000 surety bond on each disorderly conduct. Stay away from the shopping complex at 7491 North Point Parkway, particularly Michael's and PF Chang's. Stay away from the victims, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, Ms. Armstrong.
Judge, we recognize these number of cycles that Mr. Hurd has, but I do want to bring to Your Honor's attention, he's a lifelong resident of Decatur, Georgia. That is where he's lived his whole life. He lives with his family, and he does not have a job. So we're asking that you grant a signature bond in these cases. If not a signature bond, nothing more than $500 each. Thank you.
All right, defendant will receive a $1,500 total surety bond, $500 each count. He's to stay away from the North Point, that shopping center on North Point in its entirety, particularly the Michaels and PF Chang's. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Anything further?
Yes, Your Honor, no contact with Ms.
Oh,
Whitman.
and no further contact with either of the alleged victims in this case. All right, sir, best of luck to you. All right, so we only have positions 21 and 12. Was a breakout requested for 21?
Yes, Your Honor, and one of the alleged victims on 21 is also on the call, Ms. Walker.
Okay, and there was also a breakout requested for position 12, Ms. Wills?
Yes, Judge.
All right, so let's go into the breakout, please. And let's bring the I don't see a Miss Walker on the line.
It's a red J.
Oh, okay, I see her now. If we could bring Miss Walker into the breakout first, and we'll handle that case in breakout first.
You want the history or you gonna get it in the breakout?
Why don't we put the history onto the record for both cases for position? Are these waived appearances as well?
I have waived my client's appearance for position 12.
And 21 is waived appearance?
I'm waiving Mr. Saylor's appearance.
Okay, so okay, it was previously waived, Ms. Armstrong, and you submitted that?
I did not submit it. I apologize. I don't do this often, but I'm happy to get that to the court. I wasn't actually able to speak with Mr. Saylor at all, so I'm just kind of here by proxy, I guess. He wouldn't talk to me, so please advise.
Okay. At courtroom 2, very quickly, Miss Armstrong cannot really waive his appearance without him giving the affirmative decision. Will he be brought today, or is that a medical reset for position 21?
They probably to the inmates out.
Okay. In the meantime, Mr. Hart, hit us with the history, please.
For leak,
Yes.
fourth arrest, 2019 trespass obstruction, 2013 theft by taking conviction, and the 2010 ag battery dead docket.
And for 21?
6 arrests. His last arrest was in 1987. Trespass.
Okay. That's sufficient. Will Mr. Siller be brought at courtroom 2? All right, let's go into the breakout, and hopefully someone can tell us that when we come back.
Judge, who all do you want in the breakout?
All right, it's gonna be Miss Falk, Miss Reddick, Miss Armstrong, Miss Wills, and Miss Walker, who appears with the letter J. And does Mr. Young need to attend as well? Mr. Young probably needs to come as well.
Yeah, that's correct, Judge.
Okay. Okay, Will's real. Ready?
All right, are we at courtroom 2? Is anyone there at courtroom 2? Are we going to be able to bring or take cell phones to positions 21 or 12?
They both, well, Mr. What's that name? Mr. Sellers, he was acting out inmates, so they took him back to intake. And then the other guy, he's in medical.
He's in observation.
He's in observation.
Okay, so unfortunately, we have to reset both those cases to tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. All right, that concludes the entire calendar. Ms. Wilson, Ms. Armstrong, if you would ask that Mr. Howard or someone visit the jail and get an affirmative waiver so that bond could be set tomorrow at a calendar, so we don't keep resetting those two cases. All right, Ms. Lewis, will you please review the calendar for me? Thank you for your patience today.
All right, everybody's aware the SAP reset date is gonna be May the 30th, at 9 o'clock, so I don't have to keep repeating that, a date. Position number 1 received a $1,000 surety. It's a reset for the SAP counter. Position number 2 received a $4,000 split bond, $1,000 surety and a $3,000 SOB through the jail. That's reset for the SAP. Position number 3 is reset for SAP is a $10,000 surety bond. Position number 4 is a $2,000 surety bond reset for the SAP. Position number 5 is a $2,500 surety bond reset for SAP. Position number 6 is a $1,500 surety bond reset for SAP. Position number 7 is a $1,000 surety bond reset for SAP. Position number 8 is a $5,000 surety bond reset for SAP. Position number 9 is $1,500 surety bond reset for SAP. Position number 10 is a $1,000 surety bond reset for SAP. Position number 11 is a $1,500 surety bond reset for SAP. Position number 12 is going to reset for the SCA counter tomorrow, which is May the 18th. Position 13 is a $1,000 surety bond reset for SAP. Position number 14 is a $1,500 surety bond reset for SAP. Position number 15 is a $1,000 SOB through the jail reset further notice. Position number 16 is a 3,000 SOB through the jail reset further notice. Position 17 is a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge reset further notice. Position 18 is a split bond, is a $1,000 SOB on the first charge, criminal trespass, and the second is a $50 cash bond reset for SAP. Position number 19 is a $4,000 surety bond reset for SAP. Position number 20 is a $3,000 SOB through the jail reset further notice. Position 21 is reset for the SCA counter tomorrow, which is 5/18. Position 22 is a $3,000 SOB through the jail reset further notice. Position 23 is a $4,000 surety bond. Correct on that one. Somebody reset for SAP. Any questions or concerns or comments?
All right, hearing none, we'll be in recess until tomorrow's SCA calendar. Everyone take care and have a good afternoon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And I'll get those orders right over to you right away, Judge.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.